Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to today's live webinar. Want to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Tom Sternat. I'm the lead digital artist of the Creator Space, and welcome to the workshop. So today it's a pretty fun, exciting workshop. We're going to be looking at the tools for doing audio podcasts. And part of our workshops going forward now too is we're going to look at some of the equipment that's available with the Creator Space, so with our library partners. So definitely want to reach out and thank all of our partners in this project. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts, and we have our library partners. And without them, we couldn't be doing this. So we have the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, and the Wasaga Beach Public Library. And the exciting thing is that there's equipment available in the different libraries. So we have Creator Space equipment. And part of that is the sound recording kit, and that's what we're going to look at today. And we're also going to talk about how you can replicate some of this using things just like your smartphone or a tablet as well. So we'll look at that idea in both ways, but really want to feature what's available in the portable in the sound recording kit. And to access that, it's currently available at the Blue Mountains Public Library. You just need to take a proficiency test if you haven't already done so. And if you're a member of the Blue Mountains Public Library, you can then access this kit. And it has a recorder, microphone, everything you need to create podcasts. So this can be, we'll look at the different types of those a little bit as well. And coming soon to Wasaga Beach Public Library, this kit will be available too. So definitely just go to our website, tbmcs.ca, scroll down, and you'll see stuff on the proficiency test. Click on that. It's an online proficiency test. There's a video to watch, and it will help introduce what the equipment's all about, how to use it, do the test, and then we approve you to access the equipment. It's just like taking out a book, and it's really fantastic. So we're really happy to be able to offer that. We want to encourage everyone to use these tools and equipment. You can always email me, tom@tbmcs.ca. If you have any questions, or if you need to, looking to access some equipment, or want to find out when the equipment's coming to your library. This is where we are right now. So I'm really excited to be able to start presenting some of these this new equipment additions to our additional library partners, and to encourage people, if they haven't already been using it, to access it at the Blue Mountains Public Library, if you're a member there. Okay, so let's carry forward here. So audio podcast production techniques, portable sound recorders for podcasts. That's the main key here. And I call it portable sound recorders because at the end of the day, we have one in our pockets most of the time. Smartphone. That you can record audio with that, just as you can with a digital sound recorder that we'll look at today. So that's the really fun part, is that you have the ability to do it in both ways. And the techniques really stay the same. So let's look at defining a little bit about what an audio podcast is. So, we've seen now we have podcasts that are also video-based podcasts. So, traditionally it's always been audio. So we're looking at that audio podcast world versus the video world. So, what does that mean? So this could be, some of my favorite podcasts are things like true crime audio podcasts. And that's usually a narrator going through, the chronicle of events of how something happened, some sort of true crime. There's some sound design, so maybe some music, some sound effects, and things like that. So that's one way, kind of the documentary audio podcast. There's also, you can do narrative ones. And we're seeing with, in today's pandemic lockdown times, there's a lot of audio podcasts that are being done by theater companies doing audio podcasts that involve actors doing restaging plays through audio only. So, and that works quite well too. So we think about them, it could be like a radio drama style thing, radio play, where you have different people performing different roles. There can be some sound effects, and that can be an audio podcast as well. You can be doing it as an interview. So maybe you have a guest that you have come in and talk about something. So it can be, about certain things. Maybe it's about, a knitting podcast. It could be something about craft beer. It could be about music, talking to musicians. So any types of those kind of interviews as well. So we'll look at those scenarios. And what's great is the actual kit we'll be looking at today. This portable kit right here comes packed with all the tools you need to be able to do that. So we'll be going over that whole idea and how this works, and how we can use it to create these different podcasts and with the sound recorder. Okay, so here is just an overview. So we're going to look at the portable sound recorders. Specifically, we'll be doing an intro to the Zoom H4N, which is part of the kit that is available at our library partners. Then we're going to look at adding a condenser microphone on a stand. And that's really the essence of most audio podcasts, getting that microphone, putting it on a stand, and being able to record your vocals. Then we'll look at some adjusting levels concepts for optimum recording with the sound recorder. And we'll talk a bit about phantom power and what that is and what it means. And then we'll look at the pop filters for less pop, I call it. And, it's really think about a lot of moisture coming from our mouths can hit the microphone and it can actually create pops. And the one I'm talking through right now, for example, like I have this Lav pinned on my sweater, that has its own pop filter, and condenser microphones tend to be just kind of bare and they need an additional pop filter. So our kits come with those. You can use things like like stockings or shirts can reduce pops as well. So there's you can do DIY pop filters, but our kits do come with them. So that's the great thing. And then we'll also be looking at how it relates to using in terms of using a smartphone and recording with that, and just how everything we talk about can come down to that. So if you can't access the kit, we want to still be able to encourage you to use your own smartphone or iPad to be able to record as well. So there's those two ways of doing things. Okay, so what is the Zoom H4N? So first of all, what equipment will we explore today in this workshop? So we're going to start always listing some of the equipment. You could always, if you're in the market for getting something, or just so you know the names of it when you go to the library. So the first piece is called the Zoom H4N. So that is a portable sound recorder, digital portable sound recorder. That allows us to record audio directly to an SD card. So that's the main piece that we'll look at today. Then we're going to look at a condenser microphone, and the kits come with different ones, but there's one called the MXL, and then there's also an Audio Technica one. So your kit will have one or the other. Both great condenser microphones, and condenser microphones are traditionally used for voiceovers and that kind of vocal work. It has a close proximity, and I'll demo that today, but you're really having it close to your mouth. So be really close, like so. It's not going to be far away. So it's that close kind of proximity thing. Traditionally, those kind of condenser microphones, and you'll see like with radio, that kind of idea. If we think of those traditional condenser microphone image, pop filter, and then the gooseneck stand that we can attach the microphone to, and an XLR cable that allows us to actually run the microphone to the Zoom H4N. So that's the piece of equipment we will explore today. So let's start off with the Zoom H4N recorder. So this compact device, it allows up to 4 channels or inputs with a built-in internal stereo microphone, and you can then, it also has inputs for a mic or a line. And so that allows us to bring in these additional microphones to it. So it's built in, so you can just use it as it is, and that's the fun thing, or you can add a condenser microphone. So, if you're doing an interview, you can use it like a portable recorder. So if you think of the kind of those older recorders, you might be like, so what are your thoughts on this? And like you give, a little tape, DAT recorder or micro cassette tape recorder, that kind of style. Same thing with the Zoom H4N. It can be used like, I'm here today and talking to so-and-so. So what are your thoughts on this? And then you can have the person talk to it like directly into it. So it's a built-in microphone. So we can use it simply like that, or we can add other inputs. So by allowing you to add the other inputs, you can then have more control and use different types of microphones that can offer better quality for the audio podcast recording that you wish to do. So the recorder allows you to correct and adjust the levels of each input to ensure optimum recording levels occur. And we'll talk a bit about what that is. So the main thing we're really looking for is that it's not too low and that it's not basically past the maximum of a 0. And that's then called clipping. And clipping will usually turn a bit of a red light on, showing you that you've reached the maximum, and that essentially creates distortion. And that's when it gets too loud and it just distorts, and then all of a sudden you can't repair the clipping. It's just a distorted piece of audio that you can't really do anything with. So that's something we want to avoid. So that's the main thing: not too low and not overly hot or clipping. Then the sound is recorded to an SD card, and that's how that works. So let's start looking at the kit. So here's our kit. So it comes in this nice case, Pelican case. Again, there's a couple different kits. This is the one, the Wasaga Beach kit that will be available shortly. And basically same ideas though. So you'll have an XLR cable, and the XLR cable consists of these pins, 3-pin cable. And what it is, it's called a balanced cable. And what that does is the third pin is a ground pin. So that gets rid of any unwanted hum that might be occurring in the sound. So imagine if you put this across an electrical cable, you can pick up noise and hum. So the idea with this is that with the balanced cable, it gets rid of the hum. So you get two XLR cables because there's technically two microphones. We'll be mainly concentrating on the condenser microphone, but we'll also introduce what else is in here too. So we got our two XLR cables, and then here we have our MXL, in this case the MXL condenser microphone. And like I said, it's very kind of radio-like. You can see it has that kind of old feel, and there's a front. And what we've done is we've put the logo says MXL, but we've also put a Creator Space sticker to show you that it's the front. What's really important with the condenser microphone is that if you talk to the back, it won't pick up the sound. It's directional. So it's only picking up sound from the front here, and it's not getting any sound from the back. So in case if you used it this way, you'd be kind of out of luck in getting a good sound recording. So we put stickers on the front, and it says MXL on the front. So you want to always make sure, and you can really see the difference, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's turned around the wrong way. Then this particular one, so this just the XLR cable will go in the bottom here, plugs right in there, and then we have this like mic stand thread. So we're going to thread it right on, and then this is what's our pop filter. So in this case, it's like a bit of a metal mesh. It could be a cloth mesh, and the idea here is that it's preventing droplets from our mouths as we speak hitting the microphone directly that creates those kinds of pops. And again, the Lav mic I'm using has kind of its own built-in pop. If I didn't have that, you'd be hearing those kinds of pops as well. So that's the condenser microphone. So it comes like so. Okay, and then in the kit we have these Rode Wireless Go microphones, and these are the lavalier microphones. I'm actually using my own here for the webinar. I use these as well. They're a great portable USB charging microphone. So I'll just kind of present what's here as well. So it has a little bit of a windscreen that pops on the top of it. Then we also have our cable here, which is a 1/8-inch cable, and this can go directly to this sound recorder, the Zoom H4N. It can also go directly into cameras, so like DSLRs or the Blackmagic Cinema camera. It can go right into that, and that's the same kind of plug as a headphone cable. And then what you do is it's a wireless unit. So we have the microphone, has a little bit of a microphone top. You can see there's a little microphone screen, and then there's the receiver. So this transmits on a person, and then this is the receiver that goes to the recorder or a camera, right? So that's a nice wireless system. So that's a microphone option as well you could use for the audio podcast. Pretty good quality. Again, I'm using it right now. I think it sounds great. It has a good overall quality sound to it, and it's very directional. It won't have a lot of surrounding noise, and with this windscreen, you can just pop it right on. Let me just do a quick demo of that. You just pop it right on to the front here. So if I'm like this, the windscreen like so, and it just clicks in to the top, and then the windscreen is attached. So if you're outside, you can just have it like this, and then the back just clips onto like a shirt, and it can just hold like so. And that's it. You're ready to go. And the other side, like I said, can just be going to this recorder, or it could go to one of the cameras like the Canon DSLR or the Blackmagic Cinema camera. So another microphone that's in here. Again, we're not going to be using it for today's, but just wanted to show what it is. We have USB cables. These charge these two units, so you just plug them in as you would, a keyboard or your phone. That charges that up. Then we have the Zoom H4N recorder. So it comes in a nice case. We open it up, and here is our Zoom recorder. So like I was mentioning, we have the ability to record directly into these stereo microphones. So that can go like right to, so technically, right to your mouth. You can just be like, hello, hello, and just talking and going back and forth like an interview. So those are a great recording device as a microphone. But we have these two bottom ports here, which are XLR and 1/4 inch. So that's kind of like a guitar, like amp type instrument plug, and then the XLR cable. So this is like a dual input capable. And then it says 1 and 2. So those two plus those two give us 4. And here, this is the cool part. There's an external mic in the back here. This is a 1/8 inch port that's just like our wireless Go mic. So technically that can go there, and that disengages these two, and then that becomes channels 3 and 4. Okay, so that's kind of the fun part there. So the Zoom H4N, a portable sound recorder, and again, quite a nice quality sound it can do. And then to turn it on, I'm going to go right here. Let me just focus on this closer. Oops, there you go. Okay, so to turn it on, we just basically, there's a power button here. I'm just going to hold it. 1, 2, 3. And then this front screen comes on and zoom, and it says now loading. Now it's going to just take it can take a minute or two, so don't panic. It's just going to load the file and get everything ready. And what it's doing is there's an SD card right here, and this SD card is what can be used to, this is where it records to. So the SD card, then you can offload the WAV files that it records right to a computer, desktop, and then use editing software, even like something like the free Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve software. You can bring in audio there and then record, do your editing there. So that will be a future workshop we will do on the sound editing. That is very similar to video editing, but you can do sound only editing. And it uses something called Fairlight. So that's all free. And also there's a software that's called Pro Tools, and there's a free version of that. So we'll be demoing that in future workshops, how to get that audio and then do some of the post-production work with that audio. So today we're really covering just how to record. So that's the SD card. Then here you're going to see it has a little thing that says mic level. There's a plus and a minus, and that's how we adjust the levels of each channel, right? So that's the really cool part. So here we just decide what inputs we have. So here we have input mic, input. So again, that's the top mic. So I'm inputting that right now. And right now we're not hearing anything. So what I'll need to do is I can go to these ones, okay? And what this is going to do now is I've pressed 1, 2, and now I'm using these two microphones here, the inputs that are going to go here. So this is what we want to demo today, is how do we get our condenser microphone into here, but we'll also look at how we can use this top one here. So to start to see it record, or to get the levels, we then need to hit this record button here. So it's going to hit record, and now you can see as I talk, you get the levels going up and down, right? And here, let's just adjust this exposure a little bit so we can, there we go, just expose for the screen. And you can see now as I talk, it goes up or down. So check, 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 check. And I'm just going to tap it, and you can see now that's what we call clipping, right? So if I go like this, you can see it's going all the way to the end. So what we want to do is there's numbers here. I recommend a peak of -6 as kind of your loudest, and a range of between -24 and -12 is kind of a nice dialogue range. So there's exact numbers here. 0 is your maximum full. So we want to avoid the maximum full of 0. And we want to go -24, -12 with peaks of up to -6. So that's the cool thing. Again, this is all recorded through Crowdcast, and those will be on our YouTube channel, so you can rewatch this. So don't worry about if you're missing anything. That's how this works. You can rewatch everything. So now I can adjust my mic level, and you'll see here by pressing up or down, I'm going, the numbers are going down from 80. I can go down to, let's say I go down to 65, and check, 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 right? And then I just look at the levels. Okay, that looks good, and I got a pretty decent level. So then to record, these microphones right here, record is in standby mode. I'm not recording anything now. I have to hit record one more time, and now the numbers are actually moving. 3, 4, 5, so that's seconds, and then there's thousandths of a second here. Okay, and now I'm actually recording. So you can see this is full, there's like a red dot recording, right? This is also solid. That means I'm recording. When I'm done, I hit this button here, which is a stop button. Stop. It writes the data to the SD card, and that's it. Alternatively, I can hit pause, and that lets you just pause the recording, so it keeps it as one WAV file instead of multiple WAV files. So if you're doing, let's say, a narration piece and you want to go page by page, you can pause as you record, hit pause again, and it will continue recording. So let's demo that. So right now, again, I'm on standby, getting my levels, hit record again to record. Once upon a time, it was a dark and stormy night. I'm going to pause, right? And now we see we're paused, not recording. I'm going to unpause and continue. Our hero entered the castle and found that there was a piano in the middle of the room. I'm going to pause, okay? And I can keep going that way. And then when I'm done, I can just hit the stop, and it stops, and that's it. You can see that these numbers go increment from 0, 1, 2, each WAV file, and that's how it's going to be logged in the SD card that we can then remove. Okay, so that's how we use these ones here. The next thing we want to do is, now I'm going to change it over to these bottom ones here, okay? And now I'm into channels 1 and 2. Now, I'm going to have, by default, we keep the 48 volt phantom power engaged. I'm going to explain what this is shortly. But we keep that engaged because the microphones we're using in this kit require phantom power. So what is phantom power? Phantom power is adding 48 volts of power through the XLR cable. So remember these XLR cables right here, these XLR cables, 48 volts goes from this unit's power through the cable into the microphone to make it work and actually capture the audio. Without the 48 volts, the microphones won't work. Both the microphones in this kit that are designed to go into this Zoom require 48 volts, so we by default keep it on. If for some reason you're using other aspects of recording, like a guitar, you'll need to use a different setting, and we'll have more videos on that in the future as well. But I just wanted to note that the 48 volts is on by default in the kits, that it's designed to work directly with the microphones without any further adjustments needed. And we'll look at how we can change that after we do our demo of the microphone. Okay, so let's just adjust here to see the kit a little bit better, and I'm going to just go out here and let's just focus back out to the kit. Okay, perfect. So our kit is ready. I'm on channel 1 and 2. So now what I need to do is I'm going to assemble the gooseneck stand. So we have this beautiful shiny gooseneck, and we have this metal base. Okay, so we got the metal base, and we have our gooseneck here, and you know either end can go into it, but there's just 2 threads, right? So I'm going to first thread it right into the gooseneck base. So I'm just going to spin it around. Nope, of course it doesn't want to work right now, but here we go. I'm going to thread this in. Okay, and then what we're doing is by threading it in, we are, oops, there we go. Okay, so here we go. It just has to catch the thread. So I'm just threading it in, and this base then can hold the microphone. And it's called a gooseneck because we can then adjust this up or down, right, to fit the microphone. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the condenser microphone. Right, so now that has to get screwed onto the gooseneck. the other end, right? So we have one on the base, one on the microphone right here. Okay, and it's just going to catch the thread, spin it around gently. You don't need a lot of threads for this to hold. Okay, and now let me just spin it on a profile. So now what we can do is we can actually lock this to be in line with how we want it. Okay, and let's just go over to this angle here. So now you can see I have the gooseneck on the stand right here. Okay. Okay, I got the gooseneck on the stand right here. It's coming up to the microphone, and that's the condenser microphone right there. So we got the gooseneck like so. So now what I'll do is I'm going to actually close the top of this kit down so I can have like a bit of a base. Feel free to use the kit like a base. That's not a problem. Okay, and oops, I'm just going to attach the gooseneck. Okay, and what I want to do is have it actually right on to go to my mouth. Okay, so you can see we want to adjust this so that it's pointing like so. Okay, and this is going to just point down. Oops, that tightened a bit on me. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have our microphone like so. I'll remove the case shortly, but right now what we need to do is add the XLR cable to our Zoom H4N. So we have our condenser ready on the gooseneck, okay, and I want to add the cable. So I'm going to take one of these XLR cables, and I always like to first plug in the microphone. Okay, so you're going to need to go there's the female end goes into the male end here, and then vice versa down here. And again, if you'll see it only goes one way or the other. And the key here is that once it clicks in, there's a push button, and you'll need to push the button to release it. It won't just yank out. So that's a safety switch to keep it connected so that you're not disconnecting it by accident. Okay, so there's 3 pins, and you're going to line up the 3 pins with those 3 pins. So again, these 3 pins, right, need to line up with the opposite side, and the top of the microphone, bottom of the microphone looks like this, like the other cable, right? So they just plug in and out to each other. So to plug it in, you'll just go spin it so that it's in the same spot, click, right? And then you're going to unclick to do that. That's what's happening in the microphone. So let's do that now. I'm going to go right into the microphone here, and let's click right in here. Right spot. Okay, here we go. Okay, and we hear the click, right? So now that's plugged in. That's great. That's step 1. And then this end I'm going to put into the recorder. Same idea. There's the 3 pins. It'll only go in one way. I always suggest you can actually spin it to make it fit. If it's not clicking in, you can spin it till it clicks in. Clicks in, and there we go. Same thing with this one. When you need to release it, there's a release button right here. I'm going to push down, and then I can release it. Okay, if I don't push down, it stays on for safety. It won't come out of the recorder, right? So that's kind of a good thing. Just always remember that it's not going to just disengage itself right away. Okay, so we got that all set up. Okay, so we have our microphone, we have our recorder, okay, and the phantom power is running through the cable, okay, and now I'm ready to look at doing a demo of what the recording is going to look like, right? So if I hit record, now I got my levels, check, 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 and you can see it starts to show right on the recorder here, check, 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 and now this is from the actual condenser microphone being powered. Okay, so let's remove this case so I can get the microphone right to on the desk. Okay, so give me 1 second here. I always want to close any kind of case that I'm moving, both sides, so that nothing falls out, right? So a really good safety rule, always lock the latches on the case before you go to pick it up, especially when you're kind of mid-work on something. We don't want things falling out. I'm going to put this directly here on the desk. Okay, and now we're going to look how close I can be. Check, check, check. So that's the kind of proximity we're doing when we're doing these kinds of recordings. Okay, so what does that translate to? So here's my meters. Check, 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 check. You can see it's incredibly loud. So now I'm going to hit 1, and I'm going to reduce the input. So 1, and I'm going to go down to, let's say, about 20. Check, 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 check. Hit 1, and go down to about 10. Check 1, 2, check. It was a rainy day, and now you can see I'm going up to about -6, so I'm going to even go a little bit lower. It can go pretty low. So the condenser is a very directional mic. We're getting pretty close to it. So hello, this is a check. This is a check. So I like that level, and you can see right now as I'm talking, it's going to about -12, maybe peaking to -6 maximum. So that's really ideal. That's a nice level there that I'm at. Check, check, check. So let's record that. Hello, this is a test. Check 1, 2. This is an audio podcast. Hello, my name is Tom Sternad. I am live from the webinar on audio podcast recording techniques. Okay, and then when I'm done, I hit stop, and it stops recording, writes the file to the SD card. And again, you can see how pretty close I am. Check 1, 2, check, check, check. Right, so that's the whole idea there with the condenser. It's nice and close, right to your mouth, and you really need to talk right to it. So, as promised, let's look at what happens if we spin it around the wrong way. So I'm going to spin it around to the back. Check, 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 check. Right, and right away the levels are going to be diminished. And here's kind of the levels now of, from the back. Check, 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 check. You're getting it, but it's a lot, it's offset. What's really important, it's also going to sound off axis. What off axis means is it's going to start to sound like the room versus the warmth and amplitude of my own voice getting the microphone. It's going to be that off axis from behind. Right, so different mics are handled differently. This one's picking up still a little bit more from the back, but it's off axis, so it's going to be very roomy. We want that warmth and closeness of what the condenser microphone can do. Right, so this is what we want to really get is from the front, check, 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 check. Microphone check, 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 check. Microphone check, 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 check. Okay, see, so we're recording. This is a test. This is a test. So always from that front, we're getting that great, warm sound of the condenser microphone. So that's all we need to do to set up. So then, if we really wanted to, we can technically even use the other microphone that comes in this kit, or we can, in the Blue Mountains Public Library, it's also called the boom mic kit. So that boom mic kit is what's called a shotgun mic. So I'm just going to open up the kit here, and we're going to look at what that looks like too. So it's another microphone, and the great thing is it can either be on a boom pole, so you can screw this on to a boom pole. It's a shotgun mic because it's very long and it's directional, so it's really just going to the front. The condenser mic, remember, is going, I'm talking to it like so, like on the front. This one is talking from this side like so. What does it look like? So this foam is a windscreen. And the windscreen is designed to block wind. Okay, so the windscreen can be removed. So I take it off. You can see there's patterns on the side, and then there's like the front tip of the microphone. Okay, so there's patterns on the side like so, and then there's the front here. And this is what we talk into. So we just go check, 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 right to the top, right to the front of this. So that can be also used as another microphone. I usually leave the windscreen on. It's not going to really affect our sound, except hopefully get rid of any kind of noises. Okay, and we have what's called, this is called a shock mount. This can go right onto the gooseneck stand as well. This can go onto our boom pole that you can take out. It's an option. So you can take out the boom pole, that can be held. But let's say you're doing a podcast and you want two microphones. So because you can get the boom mic and the condenser mic, use this as another microphone. How do we do that? Okay, so what we can do then is because it's separate channels, we have channel 1 and 2, we can treat them differently with different levels for each different person. So if you want to do an interview with someone, you could then plug in this XLR cable, same like we did with the other one. I'm going to plug into the bottom like so, okay, and go to channel 2 on the Zoom H4N. Okay, check, 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 and now I'm going to go check, 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 and I want to show you guys that this microphone is now, see how it's on the bottom? So we got the condenser on the top here, and the other one, this shotgun mic, it's a Super Lux shotgun mic, it's going on the bottom. So same thing, now I can just press 2, okay, and it's going to adjust the input levels of track 2. So 2, and then I'm just going to go down, and it's right at 80, so I'm going to go down to about 27, check, 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 press 2 again. Right, so you press which one you want to affect. So either 1 is for right now the condenser mic, 2 is for this shotgun mic, and I'm going to press 2 again. Check, 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 microphone check, microphone check, microphone check. So you can see I've now brought it into a reasonable area. So I can now record with this one as well. So now you can imagine I could be on one side. So if you wanted to conduct an interview, you could be like, hey Tom, what do you think about audio podcasts? And it's like, I think they're great, they're really interesting. And you can have a conversation with two people. So with the kit, you can set yourself up to do that kind of a documentary interview style and talk back and forth. The last thing I want to look at is how do we monitor, right? So what's important is that the kits, we don't send them out with headphones. And especially with the pandemic situation right now, we'll be looking at more and more where people are really encouraged to have their own personal headphones in use. So we can just add a headphone. I have a headphone right here. Put this on, and what's great about the headphones is now I can actually monitor the sound. Check, 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 check 1 2, check, 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 check 1 2, and that's great. So now I can really hear the the warmth of what's going on there, and how it's recording and how it's working, right? So that's a really great tool to be able to have the recorded tracks and monitoring it. So check 1 2, check, check, check. The great thing is you will actually hear on the condenser on the left, channel 1, and you'll hear the shotgun mic on 2. So you'll hear the two levels between the two people. So I hear the condenser mic in this ear, check, 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 and then I hear this one in the other ear. So I can easily monitor if one is getting too hot, or if there's any kind of clipping, or keeping the levels in a decent range, right? So check, 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 check. So it's easy for me to monitor the two because we're using stereo 1 and 2, left or right, and the recorder split up into the two tracks as well. So that's a really cool function, being able to do it that way. So headphones are really your friend in doing the final assessment. The levels are there to tell you, scientifically that you're in the right range. The headphones let you have that final confidence that it does sound good, and you're able to and it's recording well, in terms of what it sounds like, right? So that's that. Okay, so we have our condenser mic, we have our shotgun mic, we have those lav mics as well, and we can use all of those. So the lav mics, let's look at that. One final mic input here. So the lav mics, what we can do there, I'm just going to turn these off, stop. Okay, so the lav mic, what we can do there is we literally can just put in the 1/8 inch like so, and then attach it this way. This will disconnect the top, and instead of the mic input here, so you see this thing, it says mic input. Let me just get a bit closer. Okay, so it says the input here is mic. Right, so you hit mic, and now what it's doing is instead of using these mics, it's going to use, this becomes the mic. because this is the external mic. So it's either the mic is this or the external mic, whatever is plugged in. If this isn't plugged in, it will use those. If this is plugged in, it defaults to the lav mic. So that's how you would plug into the lav, and you can use that as a recorder as well. So that's our essence of how we record the podcast. So we want our levels, we want to hook up our microphones using the XLR. We need to go to standby mode, one-time pause, one-time record. It's flashing, press it again, make sure your numbers are rolling so that you're actually recording. Hit stop to finish, or pause if you want to pause in between and continue recording after that. Okay, so let's see what we've covered. So now the other thing too is we can look at is how can we apply all of this? We can have an input or output device for recording on a smartphone or tablet. So you can see we have a video up on iPad audio recording on our YouTube channel. So you can check that out. We've done a presentation on that before, but how would that exactly work? And what we can do is we can use something like this kind of a device. So this is the iTrack1 Pre, and it uses basically a cell phone connector, right? That kind of a cable, right? That would go right into a cell phone, into this kind of a box, and then that has its own XLR adapter. So that lets me put a condenser microphone right into our smartphone. At the end of the day, we can also just use the like memo recorder in our smartphone or tablet and record directly like that. If we do want to have some sort of a microphone input, you do require some sort of an input device. There's a variety of these. They can be, $20 to a couple $100, and different types of input-output devices are required. So here's just a graphic on that. So Focusrite, different companies. So you can then add audio inputs like a microphone, a guitar. All of those can be added in, and being able to put it into the iPhone or the iPad or a tablet or a smartphone, I should say, right? So all this can translate. Same idea, levels, using headphones with that device to monitor and go from there. Okay, so let's start doing some Q&A time now. See what's required, and I can answer some of the questions in terms of the sound recorder as well. If we can, let's look at just one more thing here. I mentioned the use of phantom power. So what does that mean in terms of if we want to change it? So what we can do is we can actually go to, there's a menu button right over here. So on the side here, I'm going to hit menu. Okay, and what we can do is I'm going to just scroll down. There's a side scroll here. Okay. And under input, so once again, so I'm going to hit menu, and there's a little scroll wheel here. Menu and then the scroll wheel. So menu, okay. I'm going to scroll to input. Press the scroll wheel. That takes us to the input settings. I'm going to scroll down, and we're going to go down here where it says phantom plus 48 volts. Press the scroll again, and you can go simply to off. Press the scroll to turn it off, and now you can see it says off. Now the microphones will no longer work, the condenser microphone, but this might be necessary if you're, let's say, using a guitar or an instrument to go into the inputs instead of a microphone. So I just wanted to show you guys how to turn that off. I always recommend not having anything plugged in when we go to turn it back on. Turning it off won't do anything, but I like to always have the XLRs removed before I turn it back on so that there isn't any kind of voltage going into it. So again, I'm going to hit the scroll, and we don't want 24, we need 48 volts for the full phantom power that these microphones require. Press that, and now you can see it says it's on. And now we can plug in our microphones, and they will once again work because it does require that phantom power. Okay, I'm going to hit menu to exit the menu twice, get out of that. I'm going to hit channel 1, 2, hit record, check, 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 and you can see that my levels are back on. So once again, one record, another record to actually record, check, check, check. This is a test, this is a test. and I'm going to hit stop to stop. Okay, once again, thanks for joining us. My name is Tom Sternad. I'm the lead digital artist of the Creator Space, and definitely there's a lot of more webinars coming up. So events.tbmcs.ca. You can check out more webinars to learn more. We're going to have more on the actual sound editing and design. And specifically for audio podcasts, we're also going to look at sound design for video. So if you want to just learn more about sound design in general, we have them coming up December 17th. You can sign up for it, and that will be some of the sound design concepts for video, which can be applied to audio podcasts. Feel free to check out our YouTube channel, and you can see past webinars, and we'll be adding some data as well, so you can access some media in the near future as well. So you can look at exploring some of those things too. So yeah, so thanks again to all our partners in this, the Canada Council for the Arts, and our great library partners, the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, and the Wasaga Beach Public Library. So I hope to see you again soon, and thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of the day.